Hello, building mentors. This is a quick tutorial on the system that we're going to be using for checking blogs. Hopefully it's an efficient system and one that works well for you. We're asking that everyone kind of follows the same guidelines so that when Laura and Marty are in checking on our individual checklists that we're all using kind of the same language and so that it's easy for them to read. And as you can see here, the spreadsheets have already been set up. We anticipate that the weeks here that are grayed in are simply, they're short weeks, and so we don't anticipate that we'll be blogging that week. But you can see here week 1, week 2, and so on. And all that we ask that you do is check Kid Blog and update this checklist, the spreadsheet checklist, when people have posted. So for example, myself, I'll probably wait till the end of the week. And on a Friday night or maybe a Saturday morning, just sit down and complete my checklist. And so the code that we're asking you to do is just simply to put an X in for each learner as they have completed their blog requirements for the week. Now, it could be the case that you might have someone who has not gotten their blog turned in on time, or they haven't turned it in at all. What we ask that you do there is go up to this piece of the menu right here and fill in that cell with red. That's kind of a warning system for us and for Marty and Laura that, hey, there's something missing here, there's something amiss. You could also have someone post, but perhaps they've just simply posted it late, past the due date. And to indicate that it's been past the due date, we want you to put an X in, but just simply make it a red X. So I can select the color here and just put in the X like that. So a red X means that it was late, a red empty cell means that it hasn't been turned in and it's past due. And as you can see, the key is down here for you to be able to look and see how you use these. One other thing that does tend to help out when we are doing these blog posts is to kind of keep track of who was the last person that I checked off. So for example, if I'm going, and you can imagine this whole area here has been filled in with lots of X's, and I'm trying to keep track of who was the last person that I'm in charge of watching, who was the last person that I checked in on. And what we want you to do is to use green as kind of your bookmark. Let's say Alyssa was the last person from your group that you checked off. So that you know where you left off the next time you go in and look, we ask that you change that cell to a green, just more for your own sake than for anyone else's. So when I come back next week and I look, I don't have to go through the entire list and remind myself, gosh, where was it that I left off at? I'll look at this and say, oh yeah, it was Alyssa's post, that was the last one I checked, so I go back to her post and then I can just start following from there. So that's the basic scheme, the basic system. You can check them off daily if you want to, if that's easier, every few days. But certainly by the end of the cycle, it would make sense to go in and check off the folks that you're responsible for. And then, as I said, Marty and Laura can kind of keep track of each of those individual check sheets for their sake. Now, the other thing that we should probably talk about is how do you actually figure out or use the Kid Blog site to track these things. Kid Blog, you can follow your learners' posts in lots of different ways. Some of these ways are probably less efficient, some are more efficient. For example, right here when you're on the main blog page, you can see these are just all of the most recent blog posts. So you could hypothetically go through and just look for the key names that you are in charge of and check them off that way. With 30 or 40 new hires, though, that can be a little bit daunting. So there are some simpler ways for you to check off names as well. Another one might be just simply to go to the blog directory over here on the left, scroll down until you find the name that you're looking for. Well, I'll just click on someone randomly here. And if I click on that person's name, it takes me to their blog page. And every time Adam, for example, blogs, the newest blog shows up at the top and then the older blogs get pushed down. So I could just click on each person's name and just check and see, okay, did they blog for this week, week 1 or week 2? So that's a possibility, another way to do it. There is another way, which might be more efficient even than that. What you could do is you could go up to the control panel and you should be able to see a couple different things. You should be able to review posts and to review comments. So if you were to click on review posts, you'll notice that you get to see everyone's post here just in a different format. But the way that this is nice and useful is that you can click on this all users filter right here and you can filter down just to an individual person. So if I want to check on Adam, I just select his name, and I'll see chronologically all of his posts. Now, we've only done one post, so there's only one to see, but you can imagine a whole page of these going in chronological order. So that might be another simple way to just check off people. The other thing that they're asking us to do is to follow the comments. Now, we don't have to keep track on our spreadsheet of the comments, but one useful way to kind of just make sure that people are commenting back and forth within your group is to select the comments tab and to go over here, and again you can filter down and look at just individual people. If you want to see individual people and whether or not they've commented, you could click on a random person like our fake mentee person here and hit filter, and you could see, we might be into the third week and this person hasn't commented on anybody's blog posts. That gives you something to talk about with your mentee. But the filter is really nice. It can take a whole ton of different posts and comments and really narrow it down for you. So it's something that is definitely valuable, especially as the school year goes on and our kid blog gets more and more full of posts. So hopefully that's a quick tutorial on how to do the checklist, how to use KidBlog in order to see what you're checking off. So as always, if you have technical questions about KidBlog, feel free to contact me, Mike Rogers. Otherwise, let Laura and Marty know if you have questions about mentorship in general. Take care, everybody.